Hello, it's been a long time since I've done a sketchbook crawl. In fact, this is my 8th sketchbook. Started on August 26th and finished in September. You can see this is the stuff I sketch with. A lot of people do that. This is in my coffee shop up the street at Espresso 77, tabletop. As I was walking home, I couldn't help noticing the beautiful different kinds of leaves and even a little impatiens in the end. This is kind of a wild and crazy painting. It's in back of the Lackawanna ferry terminal in Hoboken, and what interests me first was the balloons floating in the water, and the water was choppy. It was kind of rainy and misty that day. This is going down this big wharf, and you got more of a view of the front with a beautiful old architectural detail. And then inside is actually a Beaux-Arts waiting room, and it's called the Hoboken Ferry Terminal, which flooded, by the way, during one of the hurricanes. This is out in Flushing on Northern Boulevard when I went to H-Mart to pick up some Korean supplies. It's a bus stop with an old IHOP in the distance. This is in the park across from my street with the new benches where people congregate in the morning. I went for black ramen at Nishida Shoten ramen place in Midtown East. This is our farmer's market on a Sunday up on 81st Street. This is the kids playing in the park across the street where they put in a big grassy hill, which they love. Went to an art opening in Chelsea. Saw some Korean artists too. Also went to, this is before a cabaret show at the place called Pangea in the East Village. Waiting outside a movie theater at Lincoln Center looking towards Broadway. And these are the advertisements for the opera and things. And here's Juilliard and Alice Tully, which juts out. Here I'm sitting right in Jackson Heights on 75th in a Colombian restaurant called La Abundancia. And this was written on the window. And this says caldo de costilla. It's beef rib soup. And it's the fruit cellar that caught my eye under the big 7-train elevated overhead. Got to the Whitney Museum to see the Biennale. Camped out on a little cafe on the 5th floor, I think it was, and you look out at the meatpacking district. This is the Gansevoort Hotel, and over to the east side. This is the Highline trees underneath. Then I walked back to 6th Avenue, and this is looking up 6th Avenue towards 14th Street. The bike lane is a little wider than it really is. Also in the West Village at Father Demo Square on 6th Avenue. It's an Italian church in the back and a fountain here. Really nice place to sit. I try to draw every day or paint. This was one Sunday. I realized I hadn't done anything, so I just did a quick thing of my tea, my afternoon tea. This is a sunny day in Brooklyn Heights, in Brooklyn, by the Brooklyn Bridge, and these are some ice cream tracks that I saw. This is a vintage one. A night scene. I was just walking on Christopher Street, and the Art Deco detail of this building was just so beautiful. I stopped and drew it right away, and then it flowed into the rotary doors next to of the building itself, and then there was a dress shop with stockings and colorful panties that liven up the picture. Went for a Colombian breakfast. It's called arepa de choclo con queso. It's corn cake with cheese on top in Jackson Heights. This was with my friend Carmen at the Hotel Carlisle. We went to the Bemelman's Bar, or Bemelman's Bar, where the famous wall murals are. This was our serving of oysters on the half shell. It had a piano and accompaniment. The Urban Sketchers went down to Pier 15. This is the line that goes around Manhattan. Brooklyn Bridge, Manhattan Bridge, the old South Street Seaport. Another take on it with a boat by the pier next to it. Brought the bridges in a little closer. This is also Pier 15. It's the Hornblower cruises. There were like hundreds of Chinese tourists getting onto this, apparently. This is the Brooklyn Promenade in the back, and there's the BQE goes under it, and then downtown Brooklyn. That's just a card that I practice on. And also I just threw this in. It's a walking by a hotel on West 50th. It's the Amsterdam Court Hotel. I like those architectural details. And this one I did yesterday. I was in K-Town on 31st, and this is the Stanford Hotel. I actually stayed in it before I moved to New York, and I got a ticket on my car. Didn't know about parking then. So that's it for the latest sketchbook.